And this is part 2. Pag-uusapan natin ang mga hindi pa napag-usapan sa part 1. Gaya ng palitan natin ng kulay ito. Yan. Gaya ng margin of safety, leverage or degree of operating leverage, at saka paano kapag meron tayong higit pa sa isang product. Or pag-usapan natin ng multi-product break-even point analysis. Okay, so let's continue. From part 1, we have the following information, no? Your sales, variable cost, contribution margin, fixed cost, and net income. Let's start our discussion with margin of safety, also known as MS. Okay, what is this margin of safety? Punong-puno ng MS yung buhay natin. Sulat ko na nga. Margin of safety. Your margin of safety is more like a buffer. This is actually how much you are operating above the break-even point. Okay, we all know that at break-even point, your profit is 0, and operating beyond the break-even point, okay, will give us profits. Okay, so ayun. So at that area, you can actually reduce your profits, no, or reduce the level of your operation, or reduce the number of units sold without hurting or without incurring any losses. So ibig sabihin, how much can you reduce your operations up to break-even point? 3 kinds of margin of safety. Okay, you have your margin of safety in units, you have your margin of safety as to sales or in pesos, and you also have your margin of safety in percentage. Okay, so how do we compute that? Now, in our previous discussion, we already computed for the break-even point, no? The point where your net income is equal to 0, the point where your fixed cost is equal to your contribution margin, and total cost will be equal to your total revenue. In this case, it's 200,000 your sales, and variable cost will be 120 plus 80, you will have 200. Okay po. Now, as defined earlier, margin of safety is your operations above the break-even point. So, in terms of pesos, your margin of safety in pesos is actually the difference of these two, which is 50,000 pesos. Okay, what about in units? This one is 500. Break-even point is 400 units. Then, in quantity. Then, your margin of safety in quantity is 100 units. Ayun. So, yun yung mga margin of safety natin. Okay na po ba? Okay, let's try to summarize. This one will be 500, that's your break-even point. 500 minus, no, that's not your break-even point. That's your actual sales. Actual sales minus break-even point equals margin of safety. I normally don't use the formula when defining kasi students will most of the time remember the formula and not the definition itself. Okay, so dapat i-practice nyo na, no? Like, what is the contribution margin? Sir, it's sales minus variable cost. Hindi dapat ganun. Okay, or what is the margin of safety? That is the actual minus the break-even point. Although tama yung formula, pero yung essence dapat alam nyo. Okay? Ayan, this one is 400. Margin of safety is 100 units. This means that you can still reduce your sales by 100 units and you will not incur any losses. Margin of safety. Ayan. Actual in pesos is 250,000 and your break-even sales is 200,000. Therefore, you have 50,000 pesos as your margin of safety. Your sales can go down by 50,000 and you will not incur any losses. Safe ka pa dyan. Now, in percentage, you simply divide, no? You divide margin of safety in pesos, no? In pesos, or in quantity divided by your actual sales. So your margin of safety percentage can be based on the number of units, can be computed as 100 divided by 500. Okay, na dapat siya rin kapag based on sales, that will be 50,000 divided by 200. There you go, 250. And what do you get? You have 20%. Ayun. Now, this one is one of my favorite ratios, no, or percentages, kasi nga, aside from it's telling you how much you can reduce your operation, in this case, your operation can still go down by 20% and you will not incur any losses. This also gives us an idea, no, on what part of our operation is generating profits. If you remember our discussion in financial statement analysis, no, sa DuPont approach, one way to measure actually your net profit margin, no, well, the actual formula for net profit margin is net income divided by sales. But another way to understand that is contribution margin percentage, no, contribution margin, how much is being contributed to your net income after recovering your fixed cost, right? Multiply that by your margin of safety ratio, how much you need to operate above the break-even point. So for you to have a profit, okay, there should be a contribution margin. Yung first line of defense natin, di ba, dapat positive yan, okay, and aside from positive yan, you should be operating above break-even point. So if you want to increase this, you improve this, or you improve this. Di ba? Ang saya-saya ng DuPont analysis. Yay! Tapos na tayo sa margin of safety. Let's talk about the degree of operating leverage. Ayan. Earlier, we discussed the cost structure. How much of your total cost is variable cost? How much of your total cost is fixed cost? Now, due to some strategies, no, employed by the entity, okay, para lang ma-maximize nila yung profits, sometimes they transfer variable cost to fixed cost or vice versa. Okay, ito yung focus natin because your fixed cost is an indicator of your degree of operating leverage. Now, we're talking about your business or operating fixed cost. Okay po? So, ayun. Ano pa yung mga kailangan niyo malaman dito? Let's try to compute for your degree of operating leverage. There are different ways on how you can compute for the degree of operating leverage. My favorite will be the easiest. Siyempre, dahil tamad ako, it's contribution margin divided by your net income or net operating profits. So, from our previous discussion, that will be 100 divided by 200. So let's write that down. That's 100,000 divided by 200 ba? 20 pala. Divided by 20,000. And in this case, it's 5. It's not 5 pesos. It's not 5%. It's just 5 because this is just a number. No? It's just an indicator of leverage. It's just a multiplier. So what does it mean? Okay, this 5 means that for every percentage change in your sales, you multiply that, no, by your degree of operating leverage, you will get the percentage change in your net income. What does this mean? For example, if your sales increased by, okay, so sales will increase by 1%, you multiply that by 5, we expect that net income will increase by 5%. Okay, or Yeah, yan pag-increase. Paano naman kapag decrease? If your sales, for example, will go down, no? Will go down by, let's say, 10%. Okay. Times DOL. Okay. Scary. We expect that your net income will go down by 50%. Nag-guess nyo po? Okay. So, anong kinalaman nito sa change in cost structure? Take note, a higher leverage is better if we expect your sales to go up. No? Like in this case, 1% lang, 5 lang. Sana maging 6 or 7 or 8. Para kahit mag-increase lang siya ng 1% times 6, 7, or 8. That will be the increase in the net income. But for the decrease in sales, you want your DOL to be lower. Para hindi masyadong masaktan yung net income natin. That is why managers, will manipulate the behavior of their costs. Okay? Especially yung fixed cost, because that will have a significant effect in your DOL. Sir, why fixed cost? I cannot see fixed cost in this formula. Yes, wala nga. Pero between contribution margin and net income is your fixed cost. Importante yung nakikita natin, pero pag minsan, mas importante yung hindi natin nakikita. Okay. So, ayun. Do you need an example for this? Let's try to have an example daw. Kunyari, may sumagot. Okay. Ano sabi mo? Oh, yes. Example? Oh, sige, bigyan kita ng example. 250,000. This one will be 150. Kunyari, nag-e-enjoy pa ako. Ayan, this one is 80. And you now have 20,000. Okay, now take note, we have a degree of operating leverage, DOL, of 5%. Okay, so yan. Sana naalala nyo pa yung discussion natin sa leverage coming from financial statement analysis. Kasi ang saya-saya nun. Anyway, let's assume that our sales increased by 10%. So, this one previously at 500 units, at 10%, magiging 550, di ba? O di-increase din to ng 10%. Anong 10% nito? 25,000. So, this one will become 275,000. Or you can simply multiply 550 times 500 selling price per unit, and you should be able to get this. Times 10%, oh, so 15. This one will become 165. O di, dagdag din ng 10% yan. That will now be 110,000. But, take note, okay, your fixed cost, no, is still fixed. So, akala ko ba binago natin kanina? Hindi pa. Okay, with our existing level of operation, we have a DOL of 5%. What will happen if there is an increase in our operation by 10%? Yun yung tinitingnan natin. And, sinulat ko, buburahin ko din lang. Now you have a net income of 30,000. See the difference? The difference is 10,000. Here, the difference, ayan, dito ko na lang naisulat. The difference in your sales is 25,000. That is 10%, 25,000 divided by 250,000. Here, the difference is 10%. And what is that? 10,000 divided by 20,000. Paki-calculator nga. Kunyari, kinalculator mo. This one is 50%. Bakit ganun? An increase in 10% times your degree of operating leverage, which is dapat 5 lang, pahiya ako, times 5, you will have 50%. So imagine if your sales will go down by 10%, your net income will go down by 50%. Okay, so yun lang naman yung importance ng degree of operating leverage. Okay po? So, you need constant monitoring for that so that you will know what to do with your costs. Okay. Now, let's continue. What if we have more than one product? Ay, wait lang. Sandlit lang muna. Okay. Hindi pala naka-attach yung... Sandlit lang po. Ayun. Okay. So, let's continue. Ayan, kinuha ko lang yung sampay ko dahil bigla nang umulan. Okay, so, saan na ba tayo kanina? Okay, we are previously in the degree of operating leverage. So, ayun, what else do you need to take note of? Kunyari, okay, if you heard of commission, normally commissions, no? Naririnig ko. Normally, commissions are based on sales. Okay, kaya nga lang medyo mahirap ito. Okay, it's advisable that the commission should be based on contribution margin. It's just that most of the time, some companies would not like their sales personnel to know how much is the contribution margin or the cost for each product. Parang confidential. Kaya binibase nila sa sales. But imagine this, no? Assuming you have two products, product A and product B. Okay, with the following selling price. Okay, let's just say that the selling price for product A is 100 pesos na lang, while this one is 75 pesos. Now, assuming you have the following variable cost. Okay, let's say that the variable cost is 90 while this one has a variable cost of 50. So the contribution margin now is 10 and this one, the contribution margin is 25. Now, what will happen if your sales commission will be based on selling price, yung normal practice? Okay, syempre, okay, ayan, di ba? If you are the sales personnel, okay, between A and B, you want to push product A. You want to sell product A because you will have more commission. If your commission is 10%, you will have 10 pesos for each product of A. While for B, you only have 7 pesos and 50 centavos. Okay, but if you try to look at the cost structure, patay, A only contributes 10 pesos while this one has a contribution margin of 25. So, sayang. Okay, if that's the case, you're selling more of the product that contributes less. Okay, this is one of the reasons why, no, if we are giving out commissions, it's better to base it on contribution margin. Ayun, naalala ko lang. Now, talking about cost structure, di ba? Out of your total cost, how much is the variable cost and how much is your fixed cost. Meron din po tayong sales structure. Cost structure or cost mix. You also have your sales structure or sales mix. Let me write that down. Sales mix. Ayun. Okay, so your sales mix, out of your total revenue, how much of that comes from product A and how much of that comes from product B. Okay, so ayun lang naman. Why am I discussing sales mix? Because our next topic will be on the break-even sales if you have more than one product. Okay, so let's have an example. Kunyari, you have your sales. Yan, you have your sales. Hindi. Mamaya na muna yung example. Para hindi kayo masyadong malito. Okay. The common question for this topic is, ito na lang. The common question for this topic is, how much is your break-even point or break-even sales for, assuming you have two products, product A, and what about your break-even sales for product B? Okay po, in pesos or in quantity. Ganun. So, what is the first step? No? In computing for the break-even point for a multi-product firm, okay, the first step is to compute for the composite composite contribution margin ratio. This is the easiest approach. How do you compute for the composite contribution margin ratio? This is the total contribution margin for all products, no? Coming from all products. And then you divide that by the total fixed cost. This is under the assumption that they are sharing fixed cost. And then once you have the composite contribution margin, you can now compute for the composite break-even sales. How? By simply dividing your total fixed cost. Wait lang, ba't kasi total fixed cost to? Total sales pala yan. Sorry, I got carried away. Okay, so divided by the total sales coming from all products. Yes. Okay, so you divide total fixed cost by your composite contribution margin ratio, the one coming from number 1, and you will now get your composite you now have your composite break-even sales, no? After getting your composite break-even sales, distribute na pala. Okay. Your break-even sales for product A, kunyari, and break-even sales for product B will be equal to the composite break-even sales times times the sales mix of product A. Ito, sales mix ratio, I'm so sorry, sales mix ratio of A and sales mix ratio of B. So for example, if this one is, let's say, 40%, and out of your total revenue, okay, 60% kay B, that's now your sales mix. So let's try to apply that. Okay, assuming gaya ninyo, you have the following information, okay, for product A. Gamitin na natin yung previous example para hindi na tayo masyadong mag-isip pa. Ayan, fixed cost. Kanina, this one is 250. Tapos ito ay 100 yata. Ay, hindi, 150 pala. Because this one is 100. Okay. And then, let's have another product. Nakopya ko na to eh. Actually, na-solve ko na rin to. Actually, hindi ko nga sinolve to. Kinokopya ko lang yung example ni Gitman pala. Ayun. Gitman? Garrison. Parang ganun. So, you now have two products. Okay, let's get the total. Your total sales is 550. 135 plus 150, that one is 185. 285. 285. So this one will be 265. Okay, and let's assume that the total fixed cost oops, is 170,000. So now your net income is 95,000 pesos. Okay, so what is our sales mix? If this one is 100%, no, if this one is 100%, based on the revenue, 300 divided by 550. Okay, so magkano po yun? That will be, compute natin, 300 divided by 550. 55%. Kunyari. That's 55%. And this one will be 45. Okay. or 45%. Mas okay sana to kapag hindi tayo nag-round off. I-check nyo kapag may time kayo. You recompute, do not round off. Puro memory in ka na lang. Ganun. Okay po. Now, from this point, syempre makukuha mo yung contribution margin ratio and variable cost ratio. But we don't need that. What we need is your composite. Okay, so number 1, what's your composite contribution margin ratio? If this one is 100, that will be 265 divided by 550. 265 divided by 550. 48.27 na. Okay, 48.2%. So that is now step 1. Okay, now step 2. Let's compute for the composite break-even sales. Composite break-even sales will be equal to 170 and 170,000 pesos divided by composite contribution margin, which is 48.2%. 170, 48.2. Okay, 170 okay, 352,697. Okay, 352,697. 352,697 point something. So that's now your composite break-even sales. So let's compute how much will be the break-even sales for A and B. So your break-even sales for A will be 352,697 times, what's the sales mix for A? 45%. And your break-even sales for B, wala na, pagod na rin yung pen ko, that will be 352,697 times 55%. Maraming issue tong example na to kasi ilang beses tayong nag-round off. Okay. 352,697. 352,697 times 0.45. 158,713.65. 158,714. And you have 352,697. 352,697 times 0.55%. 193,983. 193,983. 193,983. Okay, so this will be their break-even sales. No, ayan. Again, estimate lang po ito. Bakit? It really depends on their selling price na naman, because if you try to look at sales, assuming that this is our previous example and the selling price is 500, you cannot have this figure. Diba? So, ayan. Mathematically, this will be the break-even sales. Okay, so that's it. Ano pa yung mga kailangan nyo malaman? Okay, some basic assumptions, no? Assumptions. Some basic assumptions for CVP analysis. Okay, my favorite, yung nasabi natin kanina. Costs are linear. Okay, ayan. Aside from that, number 2, in the absence of any given from the problem, we expect that the selling price per unit is constant. Pag minsan nga kasama pati yung variable cost per unit, di ba? Okay, also, ano pa ba yung mga importante dito? Number 3. Ayan, automatic na. Natok na talaga yung kamay ko. Number 3, okay, for a multi-product firm, sales mix. Ayan. Sales mix is constant. Okay, and aside from that, number 4, ito pinaka-importanting assumption ng break-even analysis. Your inventories do not change. Ayan. In short, the beginning balance is equal to your ending balance. Hindi guys sa variable absorption costing na kino-consider natin yung beginning and ending balance. This time, wala. Okay, so meaning all units produced will be equal to sales. So your production will be equal to sales. Ayan. Kaya maganda ang just in time. Okay. If you still remember just in time, maganda ang just in time together with your CVP analysis. Okay, so I guess that's it. Naka 30 minutes na naman tayo. Okay, although this is bite-size Ziggy, hindi siya bite-size lamon siya, lamutak. Okay, ang hahaba ng mga discussion natin. Okay, so sana na nakatuloy yung 30 minutes na yon. Wala na po akong masabi. Please feel free to ask questions and post your comments at the comment section below. Okay, or pwede nyo siyang i-post sa PM, ganun na lang, okay, para ma-tackle natin yung mga questions nyo. Okay po, so once again, salamat po ng napakarami.